Anecdotes for success. Level up with truth, meaning, trade-offs, perspective.
What happens? That's what happens.
Yeah, so this is what happens every week. I start doing my thing, and we have Dain Reese on tonight, ready for the world to see. I mean, this goes to, I don't want to say millions, maybe hundreds. I don't know the point we're at, but we have so much fun. And in a selfish way, Dain, Matt and I do this because we just love talking to people. Like,
Well, I'm sort of jealous. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I just can't come up with the right context to do it, but I love it. It looks like a lot of fun.
it is, and we've grown, and we don't even realize we hit record. But anyways, we have Dain Reese on tonight. Dain, I'm gonna let you start from wherever you want to start, and you just talk. And here's what happens: I ask questions, but Matt beats me to the punch all the time. He's got a bigger mouth than me. He asks more questions. You can go back to high school. You can go back to how you started your business career. Like, I don't even know the title of this episode yet. I have a piece of paper, and I figure it out as we go along. Like, that's how authentic and just raw this is. We just go for, I don't know, 30, somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes. So I'll stop talking. You start wherever you want.
Yeah, I'll look forward to the name of the episode. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know what I mean? It goes a long time back. There's a lot of chapters to everything. You can't just say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and then, in a month's time or year's time, you have that accomplished. It's a lot of trial by error, you know what I mean? And the best thing that I can say that helped me was I knew what I wanted to do. I like people, you know what I mean? I like to be around people. I like to be part of somebody's celebration, say a birthday, a wedding engagement, a baby, you know what I mean? Anything that's part of their special time, that I feel like if I can help boost that, be part of that, that's what I get the joy from and stuff. That's what I like about the business. So I always knew I wanted to be part of that. Plus I enjoy sports a lot. So I incorporated sports big time in the business. But I mean, starting out, I learned from the best around this area. I like to give them credit, man, because you know what I mean? Like, I could have went to school and got some great advice, great knowledge, from professors and business classes and stuff. I know, Paul, you give people a lot of great stuff. I've had your classes in the restaurant a couple of times, and they're awesome. But I learned, from Danny Sandor, Phil Gush. I learned from the people who have done it. I mean, they were in business for 20, 30 years. When you go out, you hear people speak of them in a manner that, it's like, man, they really look up to that guy. He's doing it right and stuff like that. So I'm going to listen. I'm going to pay attention to how this guy is doing it. And then I take a little bit from each person that I've worked for, and I've learned to respect their work ethic and the way they treat people, and their vision and stuff like that. So just take a little bit and put that into my creations, or whatever you call it. But starting out wasn't easy. I had zero money. Tried the banks. I tried all these things, and I failed because I had a bad credit score.
How old were you then?
26. Yeah. So I worked in the bar business for, Chuck Clark's and, a bunch of places and stuff like that. And then grew up in Gush's. So interesting. So I've that's what I think is special, actually. Like, I grew up in a biker bar. I worked at a kind of a college nightclub thing. And then, I hung out at the sports places and stuff like that. I just got to meet so many different varieties of people that I could kind of hold a conversation with, with all of them and stuff like that. So my first place was on the corner of Oak and Washington. If you don't know where that is, don't go looking for it.
I
But,
know where.
but it was, it was one of them old neighborhood bars that people were trying to get out, and I was able to work a lease agreement out, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And as I'm doing that, I was just looking for property, always looking for better location and stuff like that, because
Dain, let me interrupt you on something. I
Yeah.
want to back up on something you said that I think that's super interesting. You know, one of the I had this very conversation today with someone. You said you didn't have any money. The banks weren't giving you any money. I know the feeling. Been there. I was having this conversation with someone today, and his answer to that was, "Well, so I can't do it," which obviously isn't what happened with you, and isn't what happened with me. So how did you overcome that? Because I hear that all the time. Well, I can't get the money. I can't do anything unless I have money. I don't have money. No one will give me any money. It's dead in the water. I know that's an excuse. I'm sure you think that's an excuse for most people. But like, what'd you do?
I'm not gonna lie, it's discouraging when you put a great business plan, what you think is a great business plan together. You don't owe anybody a penny. You know, you think you got everything lined up, and you go and then you just hear the bank say, "We can't help you."
Yeah.
I've actually had one bank manager come and say, "This is one of the best business plans that I've seen, but your credit score doesn't work out to our the way they come up with their loans and stuff." So it but you know what? It's like I said, it's what I wanted to do. And when I found out my first place was going to be on Oak Street, I go like, oh, okay, well, I can get past the first 6 months and see if I can make it. But can I really make it on Oak Street? You know what I mean? Can I really make money and bring people and make them feel welcome in the neighborhood that I was in? But like I said, I know a lot of people from different walks of life and stuff like that. And I said, absolutely, I can. There's no way that I won't. I guarantee, you know what I mean? It's like, if this is what you want to do, then this is I opened the bar up at 7 a.m. I did the mopping and all. I bartended the whole day till 2 a.m. Then I got up and did it again for a year straight with no employees. You know what I mean? And that's a little extreme. But there was no way I was going to fail. You know what I mean? You have to have that mindset that there is no way I'm going to fail. And if I do fail, how do I get the ball rolling again? Like what set me down, and how do I fix that mistake? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's great, because I think the thing that you're saying there, it's like, you got to convince yourself. You've got to be convinced. Let me say it that way. There's no way I'm going to fail. That means you're working, 19-hour days every day for a year, so you don't fail. Like, most people can't even fathom that. That it's not even in their radar. Guys like you, and I'll put myself in the same category, because man, I've done some stuff and worked some hours that people don't even understand. Like, I don't even see it any other way. Like, I hear that story. I never knew that about you, but it doesn't shock me at all. In fact, I'd be shocked if you didn't have stories like that,
Yeah.
So I just, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like, people listen to this, they want some advice on success and how to get to where maybe someone like you are, or other people who are successful are. And these are the stories, and these are the things that I think are worth pointing out. It's like, it wasn't the bank gave me $250,000 and I opened the doors and had a great staff and we just took off. It's never like that. It's never, not for guys like us anyway.
Yeah, and the failure rate is so high in most businesses. In my business, I think the failure rate is 97%. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But like I said, man, that's what I wanted. I knew what I wanted. I didn't want to try and to do this and to do that. And I'd already so college was an option. I did contemplate going to college and stuff like this, but I had a couple of the old timers say, "Hey, man, you know what? You can do this. Your work ethic and the way you're paying attention and how fast you're learning, I can teach you way more than any professor can." I mean, and some might agree, some might disagree, but for me, I was like, that's what I wanted to hear, because I want to learn from you because I respect you already. I know you. I've seen what you've done, and I'm going to try to learn from the best, which I thought, you know what I mean, was the best at that time. So,
And what was the goal, to make a bunch of money there for the next 50 years, or to like grow something? What were you thinking long term? Were you thinking long term?
oh, absolutely, yeah. The liquor licenses are given out for 3 years back then. Now you can get them in different increments, 1, 2, 3, or whatever. But back then they were 3. So I said, all right, I'm going to make this 3 years the best 3 years that I possibly can at the location. And in the meantime, I will look around for available property. I will talk to different owners around town. I'll throw my name out there saying, hey, Dain is looking to come downtown. If you know anybody, and if you think you'd like to rent to them, and then it takes a lot. It takes you doing a lot of the right things and somebody to actually, vouch for you.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough where people have actually, a lot of my next step success was because somebody creditable said, hey, you won't go wrong with this guy. You know what I mean? He'll do it the right way, and he'll work with you and stuff like that. So yeah, I just kept looking and looking and looking. And, the next step was I found the Zamboni area. There used to be the Brass Ring, which is located right in downtown in Elmira. And the little birdie had told me that Elmira might be getting a hockey team. So I thought that was a perfect time.
You nailed that one.
Yeah. It was good timing. Timing's pretty, important as well. It's not everything, but it can make or break you in a quarter, a year or so.
Dane, what I've always admired about you is there's a lot of smarter people out in the world than us 3. Let's just put that out there. Okay.
Not about that. My dog's on the porch. I think I might be second right here.
Yeah. But so many people today fall into the paralysis by analysis. Like, listening to your story. I mean, from what I've known about you beforehand, before you got into the bar restaurant business and where you are today, you just put your boots on the ground and got running. And you made the statement, no way I'm going to fail, because no one's going to outwork you. And when you control those 2 things, it's a little easier. I don't mean it's easier in what you're doing, but the result's going to happen.
Yeah, the work sucks. You know what I mean? When you actually look at it, like, wow, did I really, work more than 3/4 of the day? That sucks. But you know what? Even when I went to bed, I was thinking, like, what can I do tomorrow? What can I do for this coming weekend? You know what I mean? You're always thinking of how you can make the place better. So you got to keep moving. You can't be stagnant and be satisfied with a great week or a great quarter, or, a great season. You can't be satisfied with that. You gotta keep up. Steve always evolve, and I always try to be better. You gotta have pride. That's the number one thing I think I can say. For me, is like I take extreme pride in who I hire and what I do. And when somebody comes to my place, I don't want them to say, hey, little dingy over here, that food was inconsistent. You know what I mean? You got to have pride in every single thing.
Dave, so you get Zambonis and you get moving. You've been at least from an outside perspective successful at that point. Are you looking? Same thing. I'm gonna move in a few more years with this one. Like, what's the mindset at this point?
Yeah,
are you investing in anything else? Are you looking at other alternatives, real estate? I don't know, anything.
Yeah, looking at it all. I'm already looking for investments, but I'm not eager to invest in them. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at stock markets. If there's something where I think 10 years from now that's going to help me, I pack that away, and that's just the income that could build slowly for me and maybe help me out in another investment down the road. But as far as the business I was in, I was always looking to get better, always looking to evolve. And Zamboni's, when I first got that, actually Yesteryears was there. Do you guys remember Yesteryears?
Yep.
So it was a split building. and I got the west side, and yesteryears was on the east side, split right down the middle. And so I just was a bar basically. The kitchen needed a lot of work, a ton of work. So I wasn't able to get that kitchen up and running. I started with a bar theme that turned into, it was a struggle. I'd be honest with you. Like, when I say refuse to fail, there's been times where I've sat at the bar, bartending, and I would watch people just walk by going to the hockey game. And after the hockey game, they walk right by me again. I'm like, why aren't they stopping? You know what I mean? And I was like, all right, well, I'm not doing a good enough job here to get their attention. I have to figure something else out. So I just kept banging and kept trying to get the attention of people. And, once you get a few people in, there's the best advertisement is word of mouth. It always has been, it always will be. And the word started to spread that, hey, we like this place. So then that turned into a good run. Years ended up closing 1 year into my existence there. So again, tried to evolve a little bit more. It's like, man, I could get that. I could tear that wall down and make it all one place. So I did that. I ended up getting both sides and went to full bar, like 2 bars. I had a bar on the west side, a bar on the east side. That way kind of we had the older people hanging out on the west side, and then the younger people would come in and dance on the other side. We had a little DJ and that type of thing at nighttime. But I still wasn't satisfied. That's not what I worked for. That's not what my end goal was, It was making money, and it was popular, and I enjoyed every minute of it. But I wanted the food part. I love to create food. I love to, a lot of people go out to eat. They just don't go out to drink. You can't be part of everybody's celebration without food. You know what I mean? So I was the first one to get the Main Street grant in our area in Chemung County. I was the pilot program for that. It took a long time for mine to go through, but once, we figured out the red tape and all that stuff, the other businesses were able to get it a little bit quicker and stuff. You know what I mean? But I was fortunate to get the Main Street grant, with the work of Amari Downtown and Steg and stuff. And finally, I got a grant where, I had to pay it back, almost half of it. But I got a grant where, man, we put a steel beam in the middle, 2,000-pound steel beam. We did new floors and gutted the walls and everything. Everything was new, and we got that kitchen up and running with a really good game plan and good work staff and stuff. I had the best people working for me in the beginning. Without them, I might have been just right here. But they elevated the experience, and they all elevated the success. A lot more than I could by myself, that's for sure. Or with the average people, they were above average. They were exceptional. So yeah, well, and then round of third.
So before we get to round and third, so when I think of Dain Reese, I mean, hard work, obviously you're telling the story. I mean, you work as hard as anybody, but if I was to say 2 statements about you, you never seem to cut corners, and you always deliver on your word. And I
maybe
feel
sometimes too truthful.
Well, no, and I admire, you have it's so admirable, the tight circle you have that you run with. Like when people help you and deliver value, I mean,
yeah. Hey man, that's family to me. My friends are family, and they always have been. I believe in treating people the right way. You know what I mean? And I've been burned. I had, you guys know, I had the Regal when I had the round and third. I bought the Regal, which is the old Ponderosa. Yep. I had both of them going at the same time, which was very, they were both doing very well still. But I trusted somebody a little bit too much, and I put faith in them and tried to work the lease out so they could have, because it's kind of the same situation as me. They had a couple young children, and they were working their butt off, but everybody doesn't get into the business for the same reason. Some people get in there because they want to have the fun and they want to have the notoriety, and and that's not going to get you far. That's going to maybe get you a year, and then you're done. And that's what happened. I lost all the money I invested in that place. So yeah, not all wins. Not all wins, that's for sure.
No, but I don't think you trade who you are for that. You if you get burnt, you get burnt, but you just remember, right?
It's a lesson. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And obviously if you guys don't know, I sold round and third a year ago, to family, friends, but family. And we worked a deal out where, well, I didn't own the building up there, so that kind of, every gal, I didn't own that building, so that kind of didn't put me in a great position to begin with. I had to lease that, so I just sold the business. But round and third, I own that building. I have owned that building, so I can, if they don't make it, there's options for me down the road. But I'm their biggest fan. I still go down there and help out with whatever I can, and we work together, got the Live at 5 coming up and stuff like that. And, Mark's, he's close enough where he bounces ideas and stuff off me. And, hey, what do you think about this? And things like that. And, they're working really hard. And it's even if it's a turnkey, even if somebody gets into a turnkey business like Round and Third that has been open for about 15 years, Zamboni's 7 years prior to that, it's still, you still can't, you still have to be consistent. You still have to have good employees. You still have to have that pride in your work and in your product, and they took a lot of lessons in the first year, and they're doing a great job in the second year. Things are looking perfect. I love it.
I love it. Something about you, something about Matt. We talk about it all the time on this podcast. You'll never stop working. Like you're always gonna, and I think that's liberating to people. Like most people say, oh, I want to make a lot of money, retire and do nothing. I think what's more important is you find meaning in what you do and you don't mind putting in hours. And then you just have the liberty to take a day off or a week off or a month off. But just, I know you haven't talked yet about what you're doing since you sold your business, but you're not just sitting at a beach every day or at your
I guess
house.
I feel bad when I say I, you know what I mean? I
Right.
mentioned, everybody that works here coming down the yard. So there goes my dog. Kind of like that. But man, like I said, man, the people that worked for me in the beginning days, I can't name 10 of them because I'll miss a couple and stuff. But oh no, that's another dog. Okay, get up here, come on, Mia. Where'd that dog come from? Okay, she'll be fine. She's nice.
Get your dog if you have to, Dain.
All right, give me a pause real quick.
Yeah. Get your dog.
Yeah.
We don't
Let's
need
go.
that.
Come on.
We don't need a dog accent.
Now, let's go. Come on. Mia, now, let's go. Come on, let's go. Hey.
I'll edit it out.
Yeah, no,
Hey, let's go. Come on.
If my dog was out running around without I'd be like panicked.
Dain either text me or told me something a year ago that I've never forgotten. I'm going to bring it up later in the podcast.
Holy cow.
I feel like we shouldn't cut this out.
I know. It's a good
Matt,
stuff.
Matt and I had our own great convo while you were gone. Like, I feel like that could be our bonus segment.
I'm out of breath.
Yeah. Everything good now?
Yeah, I live in the country, so the neighbor has a couple dogs and they got loose. They're all friendly, but
so when I cut this and edit it back, we left off with you had to go get the dog. I don't know if you remember your train of thought.
yeah, it was I do. I don't know if I have my breath yet though.
That's awesome.
Oh,
We can relate. I can relate anyway.
you there?
Yeah.
These guys lost their dog probably about 10 times so far. Did I lose you?
Yeah.
No, we're here.
Oh, okay.
We're here. You
All right.
had to go get the dog. Now we're back.
Yep. And what was it again? I said I knew it. Knew my train of thought. Where were we at?
I'm trying to think.
We were at well, we were talking about.
No, Matt and I kept talking.
I said I didn't want to say I so many times. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Correct.
yes.
Correct.
Yeah. And give credit to everybody else, but talking about downtown right now, and you know, you saying about staying busy and working, and everybody thinks I sold the bar. Hey, how's retirement? You know, like, and I say, like I'm saying but I went down, I cleaned the place today. You know what I mean? I went down there and I scrubbed the toilets and mopped the floor and brought the beer up and iced everything down and give them guys a break, you know, because it's tough what they're doing. So I know how tough it is. I went down there and gave them a break. And then, you know, I cook a few days a week and stuff like that, so they can have time to do whatever they need to do as well, you know. But I like doing it. So, you know, that's a big difference. I love doing it. So some people get into the business because they want lots of money or fancy cars and stuff. You know what I mean? I like the business.
Well, you just took my next question away. You got into it. I mean, of course, you got into it because you want to support yourself, but you didn't get into it to create a franchise to make a lot of money, even though I think you've achieved a status that you're comfortable with. You got into it because you like what you did.
Absolutely. Like I said, the people, I like being part of everybody's celebration. I like being part of somebody, even if it's just somebody who likes the Yankees or the Red Sox and they watch the World Series and their team wins at my place. I've partied with the Yankees. I'm a diehard Red Sox fan. You know that. But, you know, hey, they're in our division. I live in New York. I get it, you know, and the more fun they have, the better it's going to be for me. Maybe, you know, if the Yankees win next year, they'll come back again, you know. So
there's something to be
the bullet.
There's something to be said though about being genuinely happy for other people's celebrations, right? Like, what harm is it for you?
No, it's that's the joy, I guess, or the gratification I get out of the business. You know, it's nice to take a vacation and be able to you know, afford a nice vacation or a nice car or whatever, or something like that. But that is definitely not on my list. My list is every day what's on the calendar, and all right, their 50th anniversary, that's special. How, you know, I got to make sure that this everything's covered and everything's great for them, you know. And I'm there for every one of them for the food. Make sure that the food is right. Make sure this, that, and the other thing. It's
how important are relationships to you? I already know the answer to this, but I wanted to ask you that anyways.
Yeah, super important. I don't take anything for granted when it comes to friendship. Friendships are special, you know what I mean? And that's a work relationship, a work friendship. That's a teammate, you know, if it's sports. You know, that's everybody who has treated you with respect and wanted good things for you, you know what I mean? And you know, it's nice. Like, I get a lot of that in the business, you know, because there's a lot of misfortune out there where people go through, you know, disease or loss or just fundraising for whatever it might be. I get to also be the spot for that, you know what I mean? And, you know, I dictate the prices. I dictate this and that and the other thing, where I've had people come to me saying that I was 3 times cheaper than the place that they got the estimate from the other time. And I wasn't 3 times cheaper because that's my regular price. I was 3 times cheaper because it was important that these guys made money for their cause. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to be, you know, a huge part of that help process for them, you know, and they appreciate it. And then, you know what I mean? And it does. I mean, I'm not going to say I do this as a saint. You know what I mean? I do it with all good intentions. But on the flip side, people appreciate it. And then they're going to, if they want to come out for dinner sometime in the next 6 months, maybe they'll come see me because they appreciated what we did for them. You know what I mean?
I love that because that's an intangible that you can never measure that and say what you did yielded this return, but
Yeah.
you just believe it.
Yeah. No, I just think it's good. It's the best way to do it. Even with competition, people say competition. Some people say you have to be better. Some people say there is none. I like to network with my competition, and I'll be part of their success as well. If the more places that are successful in our immediate area, the better I will do as well. You know what I mean?
Dane, you were saying how you mentioned family, friends, uh, people have worked for you, people have worked with you several different times throughout this. It's clearly a part of who you are, the way you look at people in the world. Where's that come from, do you think? Have you always been like that? Is it, where's that come from?
Yeah, well, I said I grew up in Gushers, and although a biker bar, they were a very close group over there, and like if you went over there and they knew you, they hugged you, they loved you, they treated you like family, and I grew up in that atmosphere since I was 7 years old. And like I said, I was fortunate to hang around or to know some people from different walks. Our high school kind of had two different cafeterias. The more fortunate people with money would sit on the one side, and the east side, or they would sit on the other side. I was lucky enough to be able to go to both cafes and sit down at tables and be welcomed. You know what I mean? Because I like everybody, man. Like I said, I like people, and if you can't get along with me, then it's not my problem. It's your problem, because like I said, I love all kinds of people. That's why I go out of town a lot, just to make new friendships and stuff. Travel ball is where I got to know Paul and a lot of those people a little bit more, and build that foundation too. That's a life lasting friendship from a lot of people that I would never met. You know what I mean? That's huge, man. That goes a long way. You know what I mean? They're there for you when you need them. Like if something's wrong, they root for you. The more people rooting for you, the better off you're going to be.
How important are sports in your life? I had to touch base with that.
Yeah, that's huge. That's real huge. I mean, even from playing or whatever, you know what I mean, and having football and wrestling and baseball for me, and my brother, as far as he went, and knowing the dedication that he had to put in to get to Michigan wrestling, you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous, you know what I mean? But so that teaches you a lot, the discipline and the work ethic and the commitment. All of those things will help you be better in business. You know what I mean? Wrestling is more of that, the commitment and the dedication, and and that also refuse to lose attitude and stuff. But the more the team sports, football and baseball and stuff, you rely on other people to help you out almost every pitch or every handoff or every pass. You know what I mean? It's everybody has to be in their spot and stuff like that. And when somebody does something right, they get rewarded. Of course, you're happy for them, right? You're cheering for them again. Yeah, you know what I mean? You're rooting for them and create that bond with people and stuff like that. And you can ask anybody who's worked for me. I think I try to create that family atmosphere, like a sports family atmosphere, like a team. You know what I mean? Like where everybody's rooting for everybody else. Like nobody's going to try to undercut or not do their job. So like say an offensive lineman, I don't like the quarterback. Yeah, I'm going to take this play off. Let him, see what the stars look like or whatever. You can't have that and succeed. You know what I mean? So we got to have everybody on the same page and working for the team. But it's huge. I mean, the life lessons that you get in sports, I think the best people, the best teammates, the coachable people, the people that put the extra effort in and see the results they get from that extra effort, that carries on over to whatever field they get into in business wise. And now they realize, okay, that extra effort is going to get me this. understanding that just somebody's having a bad day doesn't mean that we both have to have a bad day, and maybe I can help them out a little bit here, you know what I mean? And then maybe down a couple of years, that person's somebody, and that helps you, you know. You get so much more for doing the right thing, you know. So sports and business go hand in hand, if you ask me.
Yeah, they do, right? It's all about people, right? It's all about people.
Yep.
You'd mentioned when we first started talking that you had a lot of people who mentored you kind of coming up. Is that something you do for you kind of look at to kind of pass on to other people at this point in your life or different points in your life or maybe in the future? I mean, that's something you're like, I owe that back kind of thing?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I've talked to a few people. Oh man, if you don't mind me saying, you know, the diner in Horseheads worked for me for 8 years. Great guy. You know, didn't teach him everything. I'm not saying that I teach these people everything, but
right, of course.
But I help them with situations they might not have been in yet. You know what I mean? And that I have. You know, I give them kind of a little bit experience before they get it. The Woodhouse in Corning, Richie was my manager for 8-10 years. That's a beautiful place. That's our sister bar.
Yeah,
absolutely. They do a phenomenal job. Zach
there last week.
Zach Skrill killing it as well. He worked for me for about 10 years in the kitchen, and he creates the best food. I mean, I just wish there was a more demand in this area for some of the things that he creates, because I tell you what, he can cook. You know what I mean? So there's a ton of people out there that have worked for me, and I was fortunate enough to help them kind of get started and establish, you know, and when something comes up, Mimi's is another one. When something comes up, I'm able to walk them through it, you know what I mean? Or to give them that confidence that they might need and stuff like that. But man, it's just a handful. Every person I see that's in business, I always tell them, you know, hey, here's my number. If you need anything, you need any advice, or if you need help filling this out, if you need to know the time frame on this, I enjoy it. And it's not that I feel like I owe it. I just enjoy the fact that I can help in a situation that somebody might need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, Dain, it's kind of reminiscent to me of something I always talk about business and, you know, being a sports guy myself. I'm kind of like you. I guess in my businesses I have competitors, but I don't look at it like that. I don't they don't have to lose for me to win, right? Just like in your world.
Exactly.
You don't have to make sure they're closing their doors and suffering for you to win, versus sports, which, you know, one team's, you know, raising the banner or, you know, putting on the rings or whatever it happens to be, and everyone else is a loser, right? Which we all know isn't really true at the end of the day. But that's how we look at it. It's a zero-sum game. There's one winner and everyone else didn't accomplish their goal. One of the things I love about business is it's like, I can win, you can win, Paul can win, we can be neighbors, we can be in the same types of businesses, all win together. In fact, to your point, if we're all in the same type of business and we're all winning, if we're all doing well or we're all doing a good job, now our little neighborhood's the place to be, right? It's a place, and then they're going to visit your place and Paul's place. We can all win together. That's one of the things I think gets lost on people who aren't in business or haven't experienced business from maybe your level. It's like, I'm not out to kill the other guy. In many ways, there's nothing better than seeing the other guy win. And I just think it's interesting to hear you talk about that.
And in the old school way, it was a thing where the owners and some of the workers would go to Good Times, would go to Old Pioneer, would go to High Bar. They would go to Chuck Clark's. They would go to these places, you know what? And they would return the favor because they saw us go support them. So they're like, all right, we're going to see you guys on Tuesday. Tuesday's our slow day. We'll be over there on Tuesdays, you know. And, you know, that's like you said, man, if everybody's can just help out a little bit, you know, it's better for everybody, because when they bring 5 people over to your place and spend 3 hours, that's a nugget. That's your water bill. That's your cable bill. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, that's a nugget. You know, you got to take all those nuggets that you don't plan on like that, and then, you know, and maybe it just works out. It just, in the long run, it's going to help you, get through it. And also, some of the people that we networked with like that also gave me advice, you know what I mean? And it's Marty Qualley over there and them guys, the Pioneer and stuff, it's just, I just remember so many stories that helped me out. There's so many situations that I've seen them go through where I was like, all right, but not all were good though. I'll say this. I mean, I learned a lot of lessons from others that did things that kind of hurt them, like there's a few bars that would, Brown and Third or Zamboni's was next to the arena. There would be bars from 3 miles up the road coming and handing out free drinks and free appetizers and stuff in my place. And rather than me throw that person out, like, yo, hey, what are you doing? You know what I mean? You got your own place, you got your own neighborhood. Don't come down giving out free drinks in my place. I would just talk to the people that gave free drinks. And I said, would you like me to buy that tip from you? And they're like, nah, you can have it. So I would take all the tips. I'd go over to their place and have a nice afternoon with my friends.
That's awesome.
That is good.
So, I mean, you can't get mad. Like, you get mad and you can scold somebody and you can do all these things or whatever in this business. It can rub people the wrong way. And, and I have enough problems. I already have that resting face where I don't look pretty and stuff like that. People already think I'm mad. So, I got to prove them wrong plenty.
That's funny.
Do you think if you were 18 years old, 20 years old today, do you think it'd be easier or harder to get started? Because I feel personally people lose perspective today with what adversity is, like when things go bad. Like, would it be easier or harder for you, in your opinion?
Well, I think it would be easier, just the fact of the the social media and the different avenues that you can reach out to these days and get the support. And there's just so much information out there. You know what I mean? Like, now if somebody wants to know, hey, what do I do here? How do I make this? I mean, there's so many crockpot chefs and stuff like this now. You know what I mean? It's because it's just the information's out there. But I don't think it matters the decade you were brought up in or whatever. If you have that desire that you want to be the best or that you want to do something extremely well, then you'll be fine. You'll learn through the hard times. You'll roll with the punches, and you'll be able to figure it out because you'll always want to move forward.
So you've sold the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about any of the projects you're currently involved in? Because I know you're sitting on your porch tonight, but this isn't an average night for you.
No, like I said, I went down there and put my 8 hours in and had fun. I did some research when I came home and stuff like that. I never stopped researching. And when I go out of town, like say a ball game, or when we went to these different areas that we're so lucky to go to for softball and stuff, I was taking pictures. I was writing notes, and I have so many notes and so much information from other places. Like, oh, because like if they do something right, I'm like, okay, I haven't reached this goal yet, but if I do reach this goal, then I'm going to have to, take a little bit of this and try to implement that so that it makes it easier, just the flow of the business and certain things like that. But so that's how it helped me. And I was fortunate enough for this new venture that I wasn't going to stand still. I sold it to give Marksy an opportunity to be the boss, to earn his money. He's my manager for 17 years. He's my best friend. And, I get great gratitude out of him being successful. You know what I mean? I'll find more work. You know what I mean? I'll find something. So I took a year off without really engaging a lot. You know what I mean? But I kept my ear close to the ground and stuff. And there was somebody reached out to me, and I was I was super, super impressed with the ideas that they had and all. And, through the interview process, when they chose me, I was blown away with gratitude. You know what I mean? I just thought that there were other people that were more qualified to do it. I guess, just not more qualified, but more knowledgeable. They had more years of schooling and all these things and stuff like that. But they might be able to speak better. I make up my own languages sometimes. I got words that don't exist.
Yeah,
But,
I love your Facebook posts when you do that, by the way.
So I don't know if I was the most personal and qualified person. And when you, not that you don't think you can do it, because I know I can, but I just, sometimes you look at the people who are going through an interview process like, yeah, I don't have a chance here. You know what I mean? But you really do. You really do. I mean, don't ever count yourself out, because it doesn't matter if you look at somebody and say, "Man, they got the total package. They're gonna succeed." Da da da. You can. You don't have to have that package. People are looking for all different types. All kinds of different ways to succeed. And these guys were looking for somebody who, has my kind of my skill set and my experience and stuff like that. So yeah, where the Chuck Clark's building is down there, right between the Clemens Center and the arena, which is going to turn into a beautiful alley type way. Like I would guess I would explain it like the Commons up in Ithaca. I mean, there's so many projects that are being developed right now that will come after this project even. There's two other beautiful projects that are going to be a great addition to this in that direct area. So that area is going to be a place to come. Elmira, let's not beat around the bush either, right? Like Elmira hasn't been a destination downtown in a long time. I mean, a lot of my Southside friends, a lot of my Elmira Free Academy people, I'm not going to name any names, but they're all up in Horseheads or somewhere. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. You're right. You're right.
So I mean, I think Mr. Capriati,
he's incredible.
The businesses that the properties that he has acquired he's not buying properties, like you say, just to make money off from rental income. He's buying them to create something. You know what I mean? He's trying to create new life to the city and stuff like that. And I can't speak on all the things he has going on, but it's a brilliant idea, and it's beautiful for the city of downtown Elmira. I'll say that. It's everything that Elmira should want, and it's everything that any city would want. And then this will turn Elmira into a destination again. Elmira will be. I mean, I'm not dissing corny or anything, but Elmira will be a popular destination. It will be where people come when they come visit the Finger Lakes and stuff like that, or the people in the.
Wow, that's great.
I'm telling you,
that's great.
This place is gonna have upper tier deck that overlooks the whole Clemens Center area. The Centertown area there. A gaming area with a lot of different games. Not a couple pinball machines or nothing, but it's going to have top of the line, activities and stuff for people to do.
Good.
Open air seating for, at least 120. Garage doors, open air garage doors, 3 different sections. I mean, it's a very, very, very extensive project. They're putting a lot of money into it. They've already put a lot of work into it with the architects and the drawings and the funding and all of that. Yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait.
My students have met Mr. Capriati. We've seen firsthand a lot of the stuff he's doing. It's amazing. I see Elmira trending up, but it's amazing how many people will just post how trashy everything is and how they just hate with no investment.
Yeah.
Doesn't that blow your mind? Nobody with any dog in the fight. Like, it just blows my mind the amount of people that want other people to fail in life in general. And you brought it early. You got into all this because you like to celebrate other people's celebrations.
Right. Absolutely. And I've been on the receiving end of a lot of that negativity. You know what I mean? the first business I had on Oak Street is a hard place to go. You know what I mean? It's Zamboni's, a younger crowd. I mean, we all get the paper back in the day. There were some things that are uncontrollable sometimes, and you have to feel the heat. Like that was none of it was my fault, but it happened in my place, so I have to feel the heat and just try to turn it around and put a positive spin on it. You know what I mean? Yeah, Elmira has a bunch of negative things that are going on, and so does every other city. You know, and
yeah, I agree. Everyone's got something to say about wherever they live. No matter where I've been, everyone's
right
bagging on wherever they grew up. It's universal, but you know, there is a lot I think there to offer. And I'm not familiar with this project. I got to learn more about it. And I have 4 locations in Elmira. The better Elmira does, the happier I am, selfishly from that standpoint. But I spent a lot of years working in Elmira. Nobody wants to see Elmira do well. I definitely want to see it do well for Elmira and the community.
Right. And I've been obviously real, I guess, advocator for downtown Elmira. You know what I mean? I wanted to succeed. I tried the Alive at 5 stuff and all this. You know, I go to support all the other ones. We do anything we can to be a plus, to be a positive for whatever is going on in Elmira. But I think with this new project coming and the couple projects that are coming after it, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a real positive influence. That's gonna help the LECOM people that are coming in. You know, we're starting to get some out of town people in downtown Elmira and stuff like that are, not there for a full lifespan, or they're just for a short term and stuff. So they're gonna go back with something positive about Elmira, rather than some people saying what a bad experience or how dead it was, or the empty store buildings. Mr. Capriotti is filling a lot of those buildings. There's other people as well that I'm not as familiar with, but Elmira's got a lot of pedestrian traffic now, and that is huge. I've been to all these meetings. I was on these meetings when I was in downtown Elmira on the board back in '99. You know what I mean? And parking. There's parking, and all that. Yeah, we don't have the best infrastructure for parking. Obviously, that's a given. We all know that. And Round and Third has been one of the busiest places in this county for 20 years with no parking. If it's a quality destination, there's parking. People will find it, and they'll just have to, they might have to walk a half a block or something. But, there's the pedestrian traffic was the number one goal that I always thought that would get Elmira on the map and bring us back around, to the pot where people would want a storefront and people would want a business down here. And that's come together with the help of LECOM and, and colleges and other working professionals that, want to live downtown Elmira. I mean, it's a beautiful view. It's a beautiful area. It's just, it's the rap. We got to kick the bad rap, and turn it around.
A lot of haters.
A lot of haters.
Hey, I got to switch gears a little. Do you still cook the best jambalaya in the county?
I do, in my opinion. I mean, I love how I cook it, and every event I'll have people call me and request that I make the jambalaya and stuff, and they won't come unless I make the jambalaya. So I try to make it as often as possible. But we actually had some real Louisianans, and I mean, they're so deep into Louisiana that it was hard to understand a simple sentence. So they don't use the red sauce down there. They got all over me because I put a little red sauce in there and stuff.
Really?
Ice. They got all over me, but I had their jambalaya, and mine's better. Theirs might be authentic, but mine's better.
Did they like yours?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you said something to me. I don't know if it was a text or a while ago, because I mean, we've what I teach, and we talk about it a lot on the podcast, where I get to select kids and have a great experience. You mentioned to me one time that it would be really cool if we had the same experience for underprivileged kids, because sometimes I feel like those are the kids that have the drive They just need the mentorship and the know-how, because I think it's hit. I don't even know where I'm going with the question, but I think about it
Why
daily, Dane.
I know where you're going, and it's the people who are able to get into the new visions are amazing kids that have earned their spot and
Right.
very qualified and this and that and the other thing. But I just think that there is a group out there that if you gave them something business wise, like everybody says, hey, I grew up on the east side or whatever, the bad section in Elmira or whatever, and everybody's talking about build a park, build another basketball court, build a Ernie Davis Center for sports. Yeah,
Build an incubator works, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's cool to they think the sport's going to take them off the streets. That's just a place to gather, man. I hate to tell you, but the court's just a place to gather and stuff like that. It's not teaching them anything, and none of them are going pro. You know what I mean? We need some real kind of workshops and some people that are willing to mentor. I know my friend Willie Owens is trying to do some things like that. And on the east side, he has some groups that he works with and stuff like that, and they're making some progress with the youth and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's people that have been in business that I wish somebody had the money to make the place. I know they could get the people that would be willing to teach. You know what I mean? And I know there would be people that would be very eager to learn. And I think it'd be a good thing for everybody.
Well, I don't even remember when you talked to me about it, but I think about it daily because, whether I do this 1, 2, 3, 4 more years, I'm gonna be like you. I'm not gonna stop doing things. And
All right.
I think sometimes capitalism and business and entrepreneurship can be utilized more by the people that don't have it than the people that grow up around it. I just
sure.
think they yearn for it more, and I think about that a lot. So we'll see what happens in the future, because there's a couple resources right here that could help us.
For sure. I mean, and you read all the stories or hear the stories about on ESPN, somebody, a basketball player, football player, soccer player, whatever, they came up from a tough upbringing and they're number one scorer and they're great with other people now. They're doing things for kids and they're helping out the community. Well, that could happen in business just as well, and more often than it can in sports. I mean, not everybody's going to be able to go to the NBA or the pros and be able to give back to the community. But business people can, they can pass that knowledge down and stuff, that experience.
Yeah, I've been a proponent of this since the beginning with Paul, and look, like you said, Dan. I mean, these kids all earn their spots. It's not a shot at them by any of the kids in there, but I'll tell you, when I was in high school, I wouldn't have been. Paul wouldn't have selected me to get in. I can promise you that.
I wouldn't have got my own program.
but
serious.
But it's true, and I think there's so much opportunity out there for kids who aren't getting to see it, and businesses, it's different. You don't have to. You got to have that desire, like you talked about earlier, Dane. You don't have to be an A student to be a great business person, a great entrepreneur. In fact, I would argue most of the time, great business people are the C students. They're the hustlers. They're the they're the ones see things maybe a little bit different and a little bit opportunities a little bit differently. I think I read recently most A students end up working for government. Most B students end up working for corporations. And C students are yours. I don't, I read it somewhere. I don't know. It could all be made up, but it resonated with me.
I definitely hear you. I mean, it's like you said, it's the hustle and the desire and all that stuff. But I mean, I think different types of people bring different types of value. You know what I mean? The A student, the B student, the rich person, the not so rich person. Like one of the things that I've learned because I've been around so many people is not really knowing somebody or whatever, but just feeling people out. You know what I mean? And noticing a group that is doing the right thing, and making sure that they feel welcome. Those little things where you can read people, or where you can notice the intangibles of a business rather than just the figures, just the profit margin and stuff like that. You know, I think the intangibles are what give you that longevity.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I think there's opportunity there, though. I do. I think there really is for that, and but it's going to take some people who want to help provide it.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
listen.
I'd be excited to see
No,
it.
go ahead.
No, I'd be ecstatic to see it someday. That's all.
I think about it a lot. I mean, not that that means anything. I mean, you have to take action.
Oh, it does. Absolutely. That means if it comes up, you know, I mean, we all want to, but we don't have that great opportunity. I mean, yeah, like you said, you help your students, and we all help the people in our lives that we can, but there's a lot more people to reach, you know, and if somebody has something and wants to put that to work in the right way, there's a lot of mentors out there that would gladly jump in, I think.
Well, listen, we've gone over an hour. I mean, we told you we wouldn't stick with you this long. Well, the dog incident.
Me chasing my dogs.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
So did I.
And you know, Matt and I had such a good talk. We may or may not cut that out. I'm just letting you know right now. I mean,
well, good. I'm glad the show went on. I hate it. I was so embarrassed, but hey.
Oh, geez, no.
But I'll tell you, Dain, this was fun. I know I asked you a while back. We all get busy. We'd love to have you on. I mean, Matt and I, so we're not going anywhere with this. Like episode 100 is going to be at the Keg and Barrel up at Cuco Lake. We're just going to keep going. Yeah, we're just going to keep going. And we'd love to have you back on as frequent as you want to come on, because you're as authentic as they come. I told you this conversation would be so much fun. I didn't even realize it was an hour, but
I know I didn't either.
I almost yawned on camera. I go, I know it's getting late.
Well, I appreciate rapping to you guys, and thank you for inviting me. I had fun, and you know what? And I think we touched on a lot of things that could be useful to people. I hope, you know. So hey,
that's the point. One of the points.
Yep. Right.
At some point, you know, it'd be more fun with this actually getting together in person, which we don't do enough of.
Well, the Centertown Social, which we're working hard on and getting around that corner. We're going to try to do that the first of the year. So, you know, keep your eyes out. Okay. We'll see what happens. There's always something, but you know, that's our goal.
Dain, we appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.
All right. See ya.